Thank you for staying with us for the second segment of the Prime Time. Tonight, we'll be discussing the transition in Guinea. The country's Interior Minister, Maury Condé, has just revealed 10 steps which the country must follow in order to transition to civilian rule. However, there's no clear time frame for the transition. Tonight, we'll be speaking with Gedéon Baleke. He's a political analyst, and he's joining us from Montreal, Canada. Gedéon, good to speak with you. Thanks for joining us.
Good to be with you, Mr. Foley. Such an honor and a privilege to be once again speaking to you.
Right. You've been following the situation in Guinea-Conakry with rapt attention. I should say that you're up to speed with the developments there. When Interior Minister Maury Condé revealed the 10 requirements for the country to transition to civilian rule, what went through your mind? What was your impression?
But first of all, we should at least know those some of those requirements, But all this, as I can say, as we've analyzed before, all this was foreseen because due to all the time which was going on between the ECOWAS and the junta governments, military governments in Guinea, we decided to look at the situation differently about everything going on in Guinea. So among those conditions, they've summarized mostly the elections part of all this process, and that's where the time all is. That's where the problem lies. They were not able to respect the timetable which was given by the ECOWAS to organize the election in 6 months, and now they are talking about 4 years. But all this was foreseen due to the way they took power. It's a coup d'etat, and once the military is in power, it's always pretty hard for them to step back and to give power back to the civilian government easily. So if we try to summarize a little bit shortly, the requirements, they've talked about the administrative census for civil status purposes, the publication of voter registration list, the drafting of a new constitution, and the organization of referendum ballots, the drafting of organic laws, and so on. So not all those things are related to elections. They want to ensure themselves. They want to remain in power. They want to remain in power through a new way. That's why they are actually aiming now to revise the constitution.
Okay, you are saying that they want to remain in power, but the justification of the military junta is that they are doing this so that the people themselves could be able to choose. Don't you see it that way?
Yes, they are doing this so that people can be able to choose and to have free and fair elections. That's all right. But all what they are trying to do here, it was foreseen. It was foreseen after the coup d'etat, And what I can say here is just a new system trying to maintain power through a new structure, and that's why they want a shift. They want a systemic shift through a new constitution, which can guarantee them to be candidates maybe to the upcoming election or to maintain power in any other way. The future will tell us. But for the preconditions of holding an election, we have a census. They have to do a census of the population, which can take less than 4 years. It can even take 4 to 6 years, and we never know. So all those things create time, and we don't know. We don't know the intention, the real intention of the Doumbouya's regime.
All right. Maury Condé, while revealing these 10 steps, also asked that political parties submit at the latest April 20th propositions on the time frame of elections. We do know that ECOWAS gave them until April 25th to table on that. But many are saying that they expected the government itself to propose its own version of that time frame so that it's known generally that this is the time frame of the government, and then other propositions could come later. Why hasn't the government done that yet?
I mean, there is a rumor that the government has proposed something like 4 years. It's a rumor, it's not yet official. They are saying 4 years, but it might even be more than 4 years, according to some people in the cycle of power in Guinea. So we should be vigilant and look at the things which are happening there carefully, so that we can fall again in another cycle as the one we had with Alpha Conde. You know, it all started like this. You know, it's a vicious cycle, and the people of Guinea should be really, really vigilant in order to do not fall and not continue with that vicious cycle, which create the same effect with the same consequences. And yeah, so that's where the problem lies. And there is this mistrust again about the intentions of the Doumbouya's regime, since they are not really clear about what they want. But if we look at all the indices, we only come to one conclusion: they want to stay, they want to hold power and control power for as long as they can, so that they can guarantee maybe they can easily implement their agenda, or they can work for their self-interest or the interest of the Guineans. But at the end of the day, they should hold elections, and they should allow civilians to be at the forefront, to be at the the catalyzers, to be the main actors of those elections.
Right. When Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya and his boys seized power in a coup in September last year, ECOWAS gave them 6 months to transition to civilian rule. We are in the 7th month, unfortunately, but nothing has been done. Should they propose a time frame more than 6 months? What do you think would be ECOWAS's reaction?
ECOWAS has already sanctioned, some members of the junta, the military junta. ECOWAS has sanctioned them. ECOWAS has suspended Guinea from its body, from its economic body, and so on. Those are sanctions which are affecting the people of Guinea. But there is another aspect here. ECOWAS can't go beyond that. Imposing more sanction beyond that is imposing sanction on the people of Guinea, which are not responsible for everything going on. That's a problem. So they've already sanctioned, and the 6-month elections was impossible. The timeline was impossible. It was not impossible to organize election in 6 months. It was not impossible, and they should try at least to go back at the table again and see in which way they can find an agreement with the Doumbouya's regime, as well as the civil society in Guinea, for the benefit of the people of Guinea. At the end of the day, they have to have free and fair elections, and the civilians have to take power again, so that they can ensure progress and development of the country.
Right. You say that ECOWAS has already meted sanctions on Guinea. That's right. But then, should Guinea not comply, what more are we to see? Are we to see more sanctions? Are we to see exclusions? What do you think ECOWAS could do more?
Now we have a suspension. They can go to exclusion from the ECOWAS. They can go further. They can impose more sanctions. But at the end of the day, those sanctions will affect more the people of Guinea, which are not responsible for all this. People are not responsible for the coup and so on. That's why it's more vigilant, and it's more strategic for ECOWAS to try to convince and try to renegotiate with the Doumbouya's government, the civil society, all involved actors around this crisis, and see how they might find a common agreement for the benefit of the people of Guinea. That's the best way to deal with this issue, diplomatically.
Given that ECOWAS has set April 25th as the deadline for there to be an outright conclusion on the time frame for the transition, do you think Mamadi Doumbouya will comply with this, especially with the fact that they are under sanctions from the West African bloc?
I really don't see him complying, because we know how they see ECOWAS and how they are trying to oppose ECOWAS and so on. But even though they don't agree, they should at least try to find a common way to deal with this issue, to address these issues, because at the end of the day, they have to be addressed. They have to be addressed. It's not about compliance; it's about the country. And if he claims to be a leader, as he is, he should at least try to discuss with others and see what are the solutions in order to get out of this crisis. Okay. And I think the ECOWAS should have wisdom as well to deal with him, within a reasonable framework and timetable, so that they can find a common agreement.
I don't know what you think about this, Gedéon, but there are many who say that ECOWAS is going soft on Guinea. When you look at the case of Mali, they have been hitting hard on Mali, especially with the fact that Assimi Goïta is proposing a 4-year transition from 5 to 4. But many say they don't see that steam, that pressure, that push on Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's a right perception, but contexts are different. Mali is not Guinea, you know. There is geopolitics as well, which enters in the game. And when it comes to Mali, we know Mali with the terrorism in Mali. We know how Mali has been having issue with the French government now, and all those factors get into the game, and that's why the reaction shouldn't be the same. And we know ECOWAS, it's somehow into, I mean, I won't say it's an instrument, or ECOWAS represents something, a sort of agent to the Western powers and so on, but they are somehow into a good collaboration with them. And then through all that, they tend to affect the decision making of ECOWAS as well. So in Mali, the context is quite different due to geopolitical interest there, and the opposition Mali has with France. And we know Mali is well disputed now between the Eastern world and the Western world, you know, with the Russian getting into the game and so on. So those are some of the factors. But in Guinea, things are quite different. And when we look at even the economic factor in Guinea, we know that the interests of the Western power are there, and Doumbouya assured them to protect them. So he's still collaborating with them in terms of economy, despite all these crises.
All right, you raised really pertinent issues about Mali, but we'll stick on Guinea for now. Maybe we'll talk about Mali some other time. Now, last Friday, the government launched a political consultation with political leaders, but then there was the ANAD platform, which has 60 political parties in it. The platform boycotted or said that they would distance themselves from such political consultations because the results will not be so fruitful. With all this disunity, how effective can these political parties propose a time frame, given that there's no unity among them?
Yeah, that's why the government in Mali, the Doumbouya's government, should be more flexible, and they should be at least careful, because consultations which are not inclusive can't work and can't provide tangible and sustainable solutions. We should be really, really careful and bring everyone at the table. But due to his agenda, like the change of the constitution, the drafting of new laws and so on, some parties will not allow that, you know. Some parties will not allow that because they feel like he's playing the game for his own advantage, which is true or which might be false. We never know. But at the end of the day, he has to be strategic and flexible and bring all the actors at the table. That's the only way to deal with it. If they say they are not going to be part of the consultation, let him assure them that the consultation will have fruitful results for the people of Guinea. Let him be flexible so that they can at least reach an agreement for the common good of the people of Guinea.
As we are wrapping up in this conversation, I want to ask you, though, from a political analyst standpoint, because you know the situation in Guinea right now, how much time do you think the country needs to transition to civilian rule?
They can hold an election in 1 year if they want to. I mean, if they are committed to the elections, they can hold it in a timeline of 1 year.
And now the final question: how fair do you think elections would be under a military government like that of Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya?
I mean, at this stage, it will depend due to all this turmoil we've been seeing around with the change of the constitution. They want to revise some laws and so on. that will change the game. And I mean, with all that, I can see fair elections and impartial elections before us.
All right, let's keep hoping that something positive comes out of Guinea-Conakry. But until then, Gedéon Baleke, political analyst, thank you indeed for speaking to us all the way from Montreal, Canada on this pertinent issue. We appreciate your time here.
Thanks. It was a pleasure to having me.
All right.
See you soon.
See you soon. And to you, our viewers, thank you indeed for sticking around. We appreciate your company here on the Prime Time. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. I'm at Paul_News. I'll see you back here tomorrow, so have yourselves a great night.